What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Bird's Word presented by JBird Kickz. This week we have 10 more releases coming out. A lot of money to be made. Also, we're going to do a little bit of a recap of Boston Got Sold. As you can see, I got my Common Hype gear. Shake my hand. For those of you who were there, you know how much of a crazy time that was. But for those of you that weren't, we're going to show you a little bit of footage and recap that a little bit, and also show what we pulled in. So, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so Boston Got Sold. First off, they sold to, if you guys aren't familiar with this event, it was located in Gillette Stadium. They had sold, well, what they had told everybody was they sold 3,000 tickets to this event. That ended up not being the case. So anyways, we'll go through my day. So I'm gonna throw a little clip down below showing us the trip in. What's up, everybody? We are off to Boston Got Sold today. We're gonna do a quick fit check when we get there. We're running a little bit behind schedule here. Got some pairs in the back I'm gonna bring. It is 9:34, you can see that. And we should be there, according to our trusty Waze, at about 10:43. So hopefully we get there in time. And yeah, catch up with you guys later. Peace. We get in the car. We leave right at 9:45. I have VIP access, which seemed better than it was. Pay the extra $7, whatever. So, get in the car, we head down to Gillette. We get there in about an hour and 10 minutes or so, pull in, find parking. Alright, so we have arrived. There's some cars going around. Got the logo tee, wearing it for the first time. Fit check on myself with the Boston Red Sox hat. JBird Kickz t-shirt. We got some bonobo shorts, and of course, the Obsidian ones, brand new. Haven't even worn these yet. Look fucking good, dude. Let's get in there. Come to find out, the event is on the other side of the stadium. So, load up the car, get all my stuff, carry it across the stadium, end up getting right to the front door. When I get there, there is a massive line that reaches further back. We have season tickets for Patriots games as well. And this line reached all the way back, almost to the tunnel where you'd be walking up to get into Gillette. It is so fucking bright out here. And there are so many people. So what we thought when they finally opened the doors at 11 o'clock, yes, you could have gotten in an hour before the event, but by the time we were actually able to get in the door, it was a 45-minute line. We only had a 15-minute advantage over general admission to get in the door. That's not the worst part. So we get in the door, I'm hanging out with some kids in line, we go upstairs, and immediately right at the door, Show Starts convention is open. There is a ton of stuff going on. So I got 4 shoes with me that I'm trying to get rid of. And I'm also looking specifically for Shadow 2.0s, Neutral Gray 1 lows, and Oreo 4s. So did a bunch of shopping over there. I'll show you some of the clips down below. I'm going to show what exactly I ended up copying down below here, if I haven't already showed that clip already. So we end up getting in there. We do a bunch of shopping. Right off the bat, I copped a pair of Shadows and a pair of Neutral Gray 1s for a pretty good price on those. Shadows right now, I'm sure you guys have seen some of their videos, are very depressed shoe in terms of value. They're not worth the 200 range that they're sitting in right now. I was trying to pay around 220. I saw most people charging 280, which was on the high end. I wasn't trying to do that, but I was able to walk away with a couple pairs for great prices. They go on for 220, 230. So there's definitely money to be made in those. Those are definitely going to be a hold. Neutral Gray 1s, people were basically giving those away. That's a very wearable shoe, and those things are going to go up. And it's a great summer shoe. Those things are going to go up. Other than that, Oreos seemed to be very taxed. I was looking for that. everybody wanted about 280, which seemed to be either StockX or above StockX. So it just didn't make any sense to buy those there. I thought there was, because there would have been so many of those pairs, that they would have been a little bit more reasonable. I did end up finding a pair from this company called ScoopDrip. Shout out to them in Worcester, down on Millbury Street. That is my hometown. If you guys aren't familiar with ScoopDrip, definitely check them out. Those guys are great. They have a ton of inventory. They legit checked my Yeezys that I traded them right on the spot, and we worked out a deal. Highly recommend going to them. So I would definitely check them out. ScoopDrip, I'll try to find their logo and throw it up over here. What else? Other than that, oh, so then as the day got on, now that VIP lines were in, there was so many tickets sold for general admission, they were letting those guys in too. The arena got so packed that you could not move. It was literally shoulder to shoulder, walking around like this, and you could barely get a deal done. You have to find like hallways just to get a breather. People were sweating. It was gross. Honestly, it was like fat people at a buffet. It was disgusting. It was so sweaty. Didn't want to do it. Didn't want to be there at all. So I couldn't find any of the stores that I actually wanted to see. I was trying to find Loyola, trying to find Boston Cooks. For those of you who are around the New Hampshire, Merrimack area, Boston area, you guys have probably heard of those stores before. I did check out the Release Room. Shout out to them. That was awesome to meet them in person. Did buy about 2 pairs off of them. But yeah, overall, it was a good event for those who got in early. So the VIP, even though we were 45 minutes after what they said we could get in at, you had to go VIP and you had to get there early to even try to get some deals done, because as the day went on, it was just way too crowded to do anything without bumping into somebody. And I actually, the backlash afterwards, when I finally left the event, they weren't letting people in anymore. People were getting turned away. People were getting refunds. They said they weren't allowing any more people in. So imagine driving far away, paying general admission, getting to the door after sitting in the hot sun all day and being told you're not coming in because of requirements. So in terms of execution, Boston Got Sold could have done way better. They oversold the event. I mean, in attempts to make money, it got unbearable to be in there. You had to get there early in order to get anything done, but seems like a lot of the vendors ended up doing okay. And some of the stores I saw copped crazy amounts of shoes. So in terms of buying, it was good. I got rid of all the pairs that I brought, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Did end up having to let some go for a loss, but is what it is. You make bad investments from time to time. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, without all that, let's hop right back into the releases. Okay guys, coming right at you on 8/17 is the Bad Bunny Adidas Black Core. This is coming out for a retail price of $160. An estimated resale range on the high end is about $525, meaning your estimated profit after fees is about $300. Personally, when we look at this shoe, prices are pretty consistent around that $500 mark. The larger sizes are going for less. I think the hype around this is for the kids and girls, so those smaller sizes are going to do better, but definitely all sizes are worth a cop. If you look down at the 12-month historical sales, there's been 203 sales so far. So to me, that's saying there's not a ton of hype there. However, with prices being so healthy and the fact there hasn't been a release yet, I definitely see those numbers going up, but the resale price is going down. That being said, I do think you can still make about $300 per pair on these guys. And they are releasing only via the confirmed app, which has already sold out. The one thing to note about these is your break-even point on the apps is $295 because of that uncapped commission that they charge to authenticate. So local sale is definitely going to be the way to go on these if you can find it. Even if you don't, you're still going to be pretty profitable, making well over $200 per pair. Okay. Next up, we have the Purple Pulses. Purple Pulses are a shoe that we've gone into depth about a couple times already on this channel, but just to gloss over it pretty quickly. On the 18th, we have the Purple Pulse and the Yellow Strike coming out for a retail price of $100 and a estimated resale value of $250 to $300. meaning even after your fees on the apps, your estimated profit is still going to be about 100 bucks. If we scroll down and we take a look at this colorway, it is a pretty nice dunk. I mean, it's definitely more of a women's shoe, but I love purple sneakers, and the purple and white really hit. So this is definitely something that both men and women will be looking to go for. If we look at the prices for resale, they're pretty healthy. 300 for the super small sizes, and they start to cross into the 300s again when you get up into the larger women's sizes, around the 10 to the 12 women's mark. I would definitely say the larger sizes are the ones to go for on this. And if you're looking down at historical sales so far, 2771 sales so far when I'm recording this on Monday, August 16th. What that tells me is that this is definitely going to be a hype shoe, something you should go over. The risk on it is low. It is going to move. And as far as I have seen so far, this shoe is only going to be releasing on sneakers. Most of the shoes that we're going to be covering today are only going to be releasing on sneakers. So that's your Purple Pulse. Afterwards, we take a look at the Yellow Strike. The Yellow Strike is not nearly as good looking as the Purple Pulse is, and therefore the resale value definitely reflects that. If we look at all of the sales that are all of the current offers right now for this shoe, they're looking at about 150, getting up to about 180 for the larger women's sizes. What this means is the profit is there, but it is going to be very slim. Originally, when I had forecasted this out, I had estimated that these would be about $250 to $300 resale range, but since the colorway is honestly kind of ugly, the prices on those are falling. Estimated profit is still probably honestly about 20 bucks at this point, so it is more of a higher risk investment. It is a dunk, so it will move regardless. You're not going to get stuck with the shoe. However, with sneakers, it's just not as worth it. Let the people who want to cop for personal go for it, unless you're really hungry for that $20. Okay, moving on to the Crazy Camo. Now, before I go any further, this shoe, when I was at Boston Got Sold this weekend, I was standing in line with somebody who had these on. These are so much better in person than they are on the back. I don't think you can't rotate yet on StockX, so take a look at the back, but on the right shoe, there's an orange smiley face, I think it is. I couldn't really get a good picture of it, but if I can find something online, I'll throw that up so you can take a look at it. But these definitely do look better in person. They're not as glossy on the black as they are. And the kid that I was with was actually saying that he likes them better than the white sale ones that came out that were reselling for more money. So just a little tidbit in there. Resale price on these looking to be about around $150. I would estimate it's closer to 120 when they actually release. Personally, I'm avoiding them. You're basically breaking even on these if you're going to sell it on the app afterwards. Local sale is going to be better, obviously. That's basically with every shoe. But these are definitely look better in person. So if you are copying for personal, you should feel more confident about getting them than not, because that black is not as glossy, and they don't look bad. So yeah, wouldn't buy for resale though. Next up is the Jordan 14 Retro Aaliyah May Fortune. The price point on these is actually pretty high at $190. It's typical, but it's a Jordan 14. We really don't see a lot of Jordan 14s coming out. Estimated resale value on these, I have them pegged at $250. You can see they're closer to they're creeping over the 300 range. Larger sizes they're kind of all over the place actually. You have 700, 800, 400, 200, 300. I would imagine with last sale, these are going to settle in at about $250, I would say. And when it comes to that, estimated profit is like 30 bucks. For me, I'm avoiding them. 14s, I don't see them moving very quickly. Let's take a look at the 12-month historical sales on these as well. We scroll down on StockX. There's been 82 pairs that have been sold. This is by far the lowest selling shoe that we've covered so far in this video. With that type of volume, resale just floating at where it's at right now, I don't see these doing crazy numbers. For me, it's an avoid. But if you could definitely cop for lunch money if you want to go that route. And these are also going to be only on sneakers. Okay. After that, we have the Dunk High 1985 Red Acid Wash. One thing to note, these Dunk Highs, I brought a pair of Spartan Dunk Highs to Boston Got Sold this weekend. It was surprisingly difficult. I don't know if it was surprising, but it was harder to find a buyer. And also, Dunk Highs were not featured a lot on the tables that I could see. I saw a couple pair of the Spartans. Those were the ones that I brought to sell. I think I saw one pair of the Michigans, and there was a lot of Panda Dunk Highs. So Dunk Highs are risky investment right now. I would not be buying for resale thinking that these are going to be going up. I learned my lesson with that in the last couple ones of them, so I've been staying away. However, copping for retail is a little bit of a different story. Retail on these is $130. Estimated resale value is about $180, meaning you're making about $25. I would rate a Dunk High at this point as a high risk investment. You can see here, we're looking at about $300 when it comes to the resale. I envision this dropping substantially. And if we take a look down below at the sales, 23 sales. That is not good. That is a scary factor. So you really have to look further than just what the asks are at that point and see how popular, if they actually are moving. With a $130 price, maybe $180, you're going to be making like $25 on these. I would stay away. They're dropping on sneakers. Not worth it. Next up, the undefeated 5 on Dunk Air Force One. Now, I was looking at both the Dunk and the Air Force One. I think I have, yeah, this is the Dunk. Okay, so on the Dunk, retail is $120. Resale is about $150 from what I'm seeing, which when I looked at these numbers, I was kind of shocked about that. I don't necessarily think that this is a good looking shoe by any means. However, it is an undefeated collab and it is a Dunk low. So I thought prices would be north of $200, but that's just not the case. However, sales are very popular. There are a high number, about 1,800 sales already with an unreleased shoe. That's pretty good. So I would imagine that these are going to settle in around $150, making it very affordable for the people who want to cop for resale, who have to pay resale prices. That being said, though, if you're buying to resell, really you're only looking here at about $25 higher. Surprising, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but this Dunk is a higher risk investment. So do with that what you will. I think it's kind of crazy to see that, but it is what it is. On the same day, coming out on the 20th, is the Air Force One version of the 5 on it Dunk. 5 on it Air Force One. I want a Dunk versus Air Force One. The Air Force One version is actually doing better than the Dunk, which is something that I have not seen recently. Air Forces are usually bricks when it comes to the resale, but with $120 resale price, $120 retail price, and north of $200, some even the bigger sizes hitting close to the 300s right now on an Air Force One, that's pretty great. Coupling that with the sales so far, we're hitting close to 1,000 on that. So I would, if it was me, surprisingly, I would say go for the Air Forces over the Dunks. I think if you're looking to make money, it's not going to be a huge margin on those, but still, it's more worth it to go for the Air Force One than it is to go for the Dunk. Break-even point on these are all coming out via sneakers, and they're all within a couple days of each other, as I already mentioned. Break-even point on these is about $130. So, do what you will with it, but it's definitely a cop if you can go for it, because the resale value is there. Following up with that is, so, little tip here, Jordan 1 lows have been doing sneakily well when it comes to resale, especially certain colorways. And I threw a pair of mine up here in the corner. You can see these are the reverse breads. These were releasing and restocking like every couple weeks, it seemed like, when I bought them, and I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna buy for personal. I got a pair to match my son. I thought they were a really cool colorway. They're great shoe to wear in the summertime. They're low, they look good, and they feature the Chicago colors. So I bought, paid retail for them, and they seemed readily available. Kind of regretted it after a little bit, but not really. Looking back, this shoe, as restocked as many times as it was, is now starting to climb closer to the 150 mark. I think last I checked it was like 138. If I can see a clip of that, I'm going to throw that up so you can see how these have been doing. So Jordan 1 lows are a sneaky good investment. The problem is with these coming out, they're only coming out on the Nike store, and they're coming out for $100. You can see here, they're in grade school sizing. Resale on these is $120. You're not making money. You're probably going to be losing money on this. So if you're buying into this, I do think the colorway is certainly clean. Anything with that toe box, that white toe box, and the white midsole is going to do well over time. It's just immediately, they're definitely not worth the cop. You will be holding for quite some time. Sales are down to 143 historical sales. So wanted to make you aware of that. They are coming out. If you're looking for a decent hold, you can definitely cop multiple pairs of these. Put them away, forget about them. You know, a couple months from now, make 30, 40, 50 bucks a pair on them. It's worth it. But at least immediately, I would not cop for resale. All right, and the last one coming up on the 21st is going to be the Jordan 12 utility. I was on the fence about this shoe and whether I should even cover it. I look at this shoe and it's hideous. It's absolutely hideous. The sole on it looks like that recycled, like Zoom Crater style that we've seen, where they're trying to, like, they recycle shoes and they make them out of that. They make the soles out of that to be more conscious. But it doesn't match the black really at all. And then you have this hit of red in here, which, okay, I guess. And it's $190. So looking at this, 156 sales. I mean, that's for Jordan 12, that's terrible. And it's going to be coming out on all of the foot sites, Nike sneakers, the Nike app, the Nike store. I would envision, in like almost all 12s recently, this thing is going to restock. And it's going to restock multiple times. So for that reason, if you are going to go for these pairs, I have them statted up. I'm playing too much fantasy football. I have an estimated resale value of $250 on them, because I do think they're going to go, initially on the release, they are going to go over. You can see prices here hovering around $280. Could be dropping to around $250, but once you get hit with those app fees, if you can't find a local sale, which seems to be the general consensus if you live up where I do at least, Boston may be a little bit of a different story. $27, that's high. I think that's really high. I would quick sell the shit out of these. Immediately get rid of them. And don't buy back in. If you're going to go for it, get them off sneakers, get them quick, get them on the apps, get them out. Personally, I am going to pass on them completely because it seems like too much of a headache to even bother going through with this. Because people are, little Timmies out there are just going to be undercutting everybody to get their money back. And chances are, if I do this, I'm going to end up back at Nike trying to return them. Just to get the money back and be wasting the gas to get down there. So I'm staying away. I do think it is a high risk investment. I would quick sell it. And the last piece of that is to know is you're breaking even on these at $217. So on the apps. So you better hope and pray that the prices stay above $217, and with restocks, I don't see that happening. So avoid for me, but it is a release that's coming out this week. So all in all, what do we have this week? We have 10 releases. I would say half of those are actually worth going for. Pay special attention to the Bad Bunnies, the Purple Pulses, the Air Force One Undefeated, and if you want to dabble a little bit in those Dunk Highs that are coming out, those will be worth it. Looking forward to our next video. We have a couple more lows coming out, another Dunk High, and the Jordan 4 Tour Yellows will be coming out. Those are confirmed. They are in sneakers. 220. Those, I'm not a big fan of the yellow, but those are going to be a problem. So we're going to cover those in the next video. You stuck around this long, thank you for checking us out. As always, hit that like, subscribe, share with your friends, check out the hat, Common Hype Gear. Love all you guys. Check out, or appreciate it. Appreciate the love. JBird Kickz. We're out.